Hi. All right, I'm going to talk about the kettlebell clean today. So the one-handed movements, like a clean, unless we're doing a double clean, we'll worry about that later. The bell and your hand position is going to be in the same place as when we do these two-handed skills on the bell. So if I'm doing a two-handed swing, that kettlebell, every time the kettlebell hikes, my wrists are running right into my upper thigh. So I have that triangle here. When I do a single-handed skill like a clean or a snatch, I want that hand that's holding the kettlebell to hit that same target. So my hand is still going to be running into that thigh. That's telling you that you're doing a good job of not letting the kettlebell twist you every time you come back, because it's really easy every time we swing to let the kettlebell twist our torso. As far as generating nice power for hip extension, knee extension, when we get all those joints working together, we can get a lot of that power, right? When we go to jump, we wouldn't want to twist and then necessarily jump if we're trying to go for good vertical height. So that's the idea. We want to try to keep the bell in that line, middle, one hand hits the leg. So if I were to do a single-handed hike and park, which is the same way that I would start my single arm swings, my cleans, my snatches, it looks like this. So I get set up, I'm ready to go, I hike and park. You're gonna have to put a good amount of effort into not letting the kettlebell twist you, probably more than you'd think. So it's okay to kind of try to exaggerate that, resisting the twisting. Okay. From that hiked position, what I do next really dictates where the kettlebell goes, since they're all going to start from that position, that single arm hike position. So when I clean, as soon as I get back into my hike, as I start to stand up, I pull my elbow back, and I'm doing that hard. Like I like to tell people, like you're trying to elbow some asshole behind you that you don't like, giving a really good jab in the ribs. When we do that, we don't need the hand to go up. It's really easy to overdo this, where you're flexing your bicep and trying to pull the kettlebell high. This low pull is a clean drill, and this is a really good option to stick with if the cleans are beating you up. If you don't have the timing down, but you want to practice cleans, this is a go-to that I recommend for not beating yourself up, but still practicing the timing and positioning of how to initiate the clean. So I'll show you those. Set up in my single arm, whatever I'm going to do. In this case, a low pull. I'm going to hike and then low pull, and I'm going to do a few of those in a row. It doesn't look like much, and the effort to do that is pretty low. So if you're finding that the kettlebell is not getting close to you, it's swinging out, think about doing it in front of a wall. I would want you to be able to stand fairly close to a wall, kind of like where you would lean over and your head would be close to it this way. That's about the distance where we should be able to comfortably clean without having any fear of running into that wall. Not that you actually have to try it, but keep that in mind. We want that bell to be close, because once we do the low pull, to actually do the clean, we just kind of continue that by pulling back and letting the kettlebell roll around and land up in the front rack. When I catch it in the front rack, my goal is that my arm comes in really tight. I want my thumb knuckle right up against my collarbone, because that puts me in a really good position to press from there. We're going to cover the press in another video, but that's where we want to catch the clean in that good front rack. So I'll show you a couple cleans here. We want the kettlebell to come up to a full stop where we can show control, and then come down and go to the next one. When you're doing these single arm skills, you want to be really diligent about getting your hips and knees to extend at the same time. It's really easy to do the old Elvis pelvis, where we're starting to extend. The unloaded side straightens out first, and then we snap that knee afterwards, so we get this little funky little hitch thing. Really make sure that you're getting hips and knees to move together. That's going to just help generate more power. So that's your clean. It is a lot less effort. It's even less effort probably than doing a single arm swing. The timing though is the hard part. When the timing's there, the kettlebell gets up into that front rack really smoothly. It's not crashing into you. When it is crashing, the most common mistake is just not being aggressive on getting the elbow back. I encourage you to try to do that early. It's really easy to be too late, where we let the kettlebell swing out and then pull it back. Runs into you like that, it gets all funky. So if I'm not pulling the elbow back, I have to really pull that kettlebell a big distance back to my body, and it crashes into me. If I keep my elbow back early, the kettlebell stays really close to my body. Don't fall. Okay. It's also a really good bicep exercise. So if you're having trouble with the timing, stick with the low pulls. Another good one that you could try though is called a cheat clean. It's where you're just using the other hand for a little bit of help. So I'm going to do a left-handed clean again. but I'm gonna wrap my right hand around, and then I'm gonna use this hand to help guide this kettlebell to my left shoulder, but it works the same way mechanically as just doing this with one hand. So that's a good one too. If that still timing-wise is beating you up, I would stick with just the low pulls until you really get that timing down comfortably. Just make sure you're not getting that forearm too high because it's easy to overdo that. But those are your kind of setup and clean options. Good luck.